Welcome to the Dave Cave. I'm Dave, and today we are talking the movie that after Halloween Resurrection was a bomb, decided we're going to reboot the whole franchise and give it over to a fairly new director. What we then got was a very dark and gritty take with Rob Zombie's Halloween. Trick or treat, baby! And before we get started, yes, I'm aware I sound like shit, but Halloween waits for nobody, so here we go. As I said, the remake for Halloween was directed by Rob Zombie, stars Scout Taylor Compton coming in for the role of Laurie. You got Malcolm McDowell coming in with a little bit more star power for the role of Dr. Loomis, and then under the mask for one of the most imposing, crazy Michael Myers we've ever got, Tyler Mane. And what the remake tries to do is give us a new Michael Myers with a new backstory as to why he would have killed his sister. He's still a killer, he's still crazy, and he still has his rampage on Halloween night. But what this does is it takes everything we kind of know, gives it a little bit of twist, and gives us much more backstory. Now, this movie is a fair departure from the original, from 1978, John Carpenter's Halloween. Very much different from that, even though it feels similar. But that's not to say that this movie doesn't do a whole hell of a lot right. So let's get into that now with the good. The first thing I like in Rob Zombie's Halloween is the first killing spree we get by Michael Myers. Young Michael Myers. Back the original. When he kills Ronnie, he kills Steve, and he kills Judith. I very much dig that scene. I wouldn't say enjoy it because it is gruesome and brutal and visceral. It's a next level, especially seeing a kid do all this stuff. The reason it's different for me than what happens even earlier in the movie when he kills the bully, that gets under my skin. It just skews me out. But this scene, first it starts with a great payoff because Ronnie White in this movie, played by William Forsythe, he is such a supreme asshole. You can't wait for him to die in this movie. I think he's probably my favorite character to watch die when it comes to slasher flicks. He's such an asshole. So you get a great kill on him. But then he beats Judith's boyfriend's head in with a baseball bat in the kitchen. Just straight up murders him. Not that that guy really did anything to really hurt him, but he straight up murders him. And he goes upstairs and he kills Judith. And we get a much more extended look of what that kill was. And I absolutely love when he stops, takes his little clown mask off, and puts on the Michael Myers mask. I know it could be a little bit of a silly look for some people. I love it. And really where that mask works is he stabs Judith and she walks out in the hallway and she's all messed up and she's freaking out. And the music hits. The Shape Stalks Laurie hits. And he comes out and he looks terrifying. Seeing that clown outfit with the Michael Myers mask on, that freaks me out every single time. It works for me. It absolutely works for me. And then you have this whole scene. He stabs her to death. Boom, boom, boom. And then you have this 180 switch where he goes and he says Happy Halloween to Laurie. It's a great little scene because Laurie didn't do anything to him. We've actually seen that he loves Laurie. And that leaves a little bit of groundwork for what we get in the rest of the movie. But it's interesting to note that Laurie and his mom are the only two people that he loved and he had no interest in attacking. The next thing I want to talk about is the relationship between Loomis and Michael. I enjoy that little peek. It's just a little part of the movie, but it's an important part of the movie because what we see there is something we've never seen between Loomis and Michael. In the original, I always got the impression that Loomis and Michael was a very clinical look between a doctor and a patient, that he was just trying to figure him out, which is what you're going to get with this Loomis. But with Malcolm McDowell's Loomis, you get, yes, he's trying to figure him out. He wants to know why this kid killed his family, or at least half of his family. But you get a Loomis that actually really cares about Michael. He cares about this kid. They have this whole scene around Christmas where they just have this screaming match to get it all out of Michael's system, and he's crying. He's like, I want to go home, and he hugs him. He hugs this monster. I love that. Because he absolutely does want what's best for Michael. but he also wants to figure out what's going on with him. And given the time, he does mention electroshock therapy, but he is trying to do the best he can. The best he can obviously wasn't good enough, but he was trying to do the best he can. And I like to think that it was Loomis absolutely giving up on Michael. When he walks in, he's like, I got nothing for you, man. It's my last day. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I can't get through to you. You're not talking anymore. You haven't talked in years. I got nothing. I'm done. I'm out. It was that moment that Michael's like, okay, well, if you're going to give up on me, I'm going to go find my sister. That's what I'm going to go do. My mom hasn't shown up. I have heard that she's dead, more than likely. I'm going to go find my sister. That's what I'm going to go do. She's my last hope. She's the last person that could care about me. I'm going after her. And that's what spurs the rest of the movie. I like that. And honestly, from the little peek that we get between Loomis and Michael in this movie, I really, really, really would like to see a remake of Halloween where it's Loomis and Michael. It starts with Judith and Michael. All that happens. We get a whole movie of Michael slowly slipping into being the Michael Myers we know. And at the end of the movie, the last 15, 20 minutes, is Michael breaking out and heading for Haddonfield. I would love to see that movie. And then the Halloween 2 is Halloween Night, where he goes after Laurie. And the last thing that I really enjoy about Rob Zombie's Halloween, it's actually my favorite part of the entire movie, is Tyler Mane's take on Michael Myers. I think that actually getting an actor to be in that role, not just a stuntman that can pull off the physicality, because Tyler Mane was a wrestler. He's a professional wrestler. He knows how to throw his weight around. He knows how to do these things. But also, he is a big dude. He can do all these things that the script calls for. He can fight Joe Grizzly. He can break through walls. He's a big, imposing character. But he also looks awesome. I really, really enjoy that mask. He is easily one of the most terrifying versions of Michael Myers we have ever gotten. And part of what makes him so scary is the fact that, yes, he is this absolute crazy person going around and killing all these people. But you get these moments where you see him as a character. Michael Myers is absolutely a character, not just a force. He's a character in this movie, and you see him work through things. When he goes up to Laurie and shows the picture, he's being this person figuring it out. Loomis walks up before he gets to Laurie, and he's like, hey, it's Sam, it's Samuel, and he turns and he looks at him, he's like, okay, nope, and keeps doing what he's doing. He's working through things, he's figuring things out, and he's constantly working it. I very much enjoy this version of Michael Myers. I like Tyler Mane. He does work. But, of course, it's a Rob Zombie movie, so it's not all sunshine and rainbows. And with that, let's get into some of the things that I don't like about this movie with the bad. Now, really, I only have one thing that sticks out for me that I don't like about Rob Zombie's Halloween, and that is the first 20 minutes of this movie. I don't enjoy them at all. And the reason for me that it's such a big thing is because you have to get through that first 20 minutes to experience this movie and really get why everything else is important, especially the Loomis and Michael stuff, is because you got to live through this part. You got to get through the gritty, shitty part of it. And that's exactly what Rob Zombie does. He nails that perfectly. That whole opening scene for me, especially on this rewatch, it's unsettling. It made me sick to my stomach watching this and having this whole display of just shitty people being shitty around Michael, to Michael. And what you then get is a very good explanation as to why Michael could kill his whole family. I mean, you get it. It makes perfect sense when you put it in terms of what this movie does. I'm not saying that they did it wrong or they were ineffective in what they did in the first 20 minutes, but in no way, shape, or form do I enjoy anything in the first 20 minutes of the movie. Not until Halloween night, and Michael goes and he kills Ronnie. That's when I start to, enjoy this movie. It's like, okay, it's like, when it gets him out of that house and out of that situation, that's when I dig it. All that leading up to it, It's the hardest thing for me to do in watching this movie is get past that. Because I don't enjoy it at all. And like I said before, Ronnie White absolutely is a trash, dumpster, piece of shit human being. And I understand that people like that exist in the real world. 100%. And it's funny, or not funny, interesting to me that of all the shit I see in this movie, there's brutality. There are people fucked up in this movie. He's the most uncomfortable part. I feel like there's some kind of social commentary in there, but with the way Ronnie is, I'm surprised there weren't more cheers when he did die when I saw this in theaters. And now, it is time to get into what Michael Myers does so well in this movie with the blood, the guts, the extreme brutality, the ugly. The kills in this Halloween, for some reason, it might just be the way Rob Zombie shoots his movies, every single one of them feels dirty. They're absolutely brutal, and none of them feel like one-off kind of kills. Even when he kills the cops. Like, sure, he gets the first cop, and we get the blood splatter on the door, and it slides down the door. That's pretty tame. That's probably the most tame kill that we get in this movie. But then follow that right up. He goes down the hallway, gets shot in the shoulder, and he just stab. Even that simplicity, the way it's handled, the way Michael Myers, the way Tyler Mane does the kills in this movie, it's brutal. Every kill is brutal in one way or another. Even when they're simple, they're brutal. The Joe Grizzly kill, simple, but brutal. He beats the shit out of him. It's a display of strength that this dude can do whatever the fuck he wants, and he's still going to kill him. It's awesome, but it's brutal, and it makes for a terrifying Michael. And like I said before, it's really unsettling when you see Dave Fairch, young Michael Myers, do these kills, because, sure, when Tyler Mane does them and he's in the Michael Myers mask, you expect it. It's Michael Myers. Obviously, he's going to kill people. We've seen Michael Myers be brutal. But when you have that brutality, you transpose it onto a kid, that gets to you. That gets under your skin. Watching this little kid, well, 10 years old, little kid, kill people. Straight kill people. And not off screen like, oh, hey, I'm here and I stab there and, there's supposed to be a body here. No. He beats the shit out of a kid with a branch. He slits Ronnie's throat. And I understand it's performed by someone else so that William Forsythe could be safe. But, damn, man. Kid's brutal. Michael's brutal. From the beginning of his killing spree until the end of his killing spree, well, at least the end of this movie, holy shit, there's no difference between Kid Michael and grown-up Michael. It's awesome. And among all of the kills that we get in this movie, because we get a shit ton of them, it is very clear to me what my favorite is. So my award for favorite kill of Rob Zombie's Halloween goes to Ishmael. You have Danny Trejo in this movie, and I like his character a lot. One, because he's a sympathetic character. He sees this kid that is locked up. He might not know exactly what's going on with Michael, but he's a caring guy. And what I like about this is the fact that Danny Trejo, Ishmael, gives Michael the idea of he was staring at a wall, looking past the wall, looking to this night. It's a reference to the Loomis speech that we get in 1978, and it references it, but not exactly, giving us the quote. I like that. We get the illusion of, hey, Michael, look past it. And then you fast forward all those years, Michael's breaking out, and you think maybe Michael's going to spare him. Maybe. In some way, shape, or form, he's going to let him go. And he even references it when Michael decides he's not going to let him go. And he kills him. That I was good to you, Mikey. I was good to you. And he just murders him. Just brutally, carelessly, kills him, drowns him, and smashes his fucking head with a TV. It gives you this idea that earlier in the movie, all his kills were kills of people that in some way, shape, or form wronged him. And then you have this character that was absolutely nice to him. As he said, was good to him. And Michael doesn't care anymore. It's not about whether or not you were good to him. He's going to kill you. If you get in his way, he's going to kill you. This Michael, at this point, there's no reaching at all. And I like seeing that flip and knowing that young Michael he's gone. Now it is time for my final thoughts on Rob Zombie's Halloween. I actually don't mind really at all the liberties that they took with this story because we didn't want to see 1978 again. We really didn't. We've seen that story. What this movie tries to do is give us a potential way that this crazy psychopath could have been created and how that night could have played out. Because even though it does play out in very similar ways, you have Linda get strangled, you have Bob get stabbed up on a wall, very similar moments, but overall, it's very different. The way things play out, the way Michael is going after Laurie, the way he's shot, the fact that he's shot way before the finale. There's all these differences, these little twists, and where it feels familiar to 1978, but it's different, and it's different enough that it feels fresh for me. I like the idea that we didn't get a shot-for-shot remake of what 1978 was. And a common problem I hear people have with this movie is that, well, that's not what Michael Myers is about. We don't need to know his backstory. This isn't that Michael Myers. This is a version of that Michael Myers. Think of it like a comic book where you get different versions of Batman. You get different versions of Captain America. You get different versions of Wolverine. You still get similar beats in there, but you get different switches on the story. You get different ways that things play out. Think of it that way. Think of these movies like comic books, and they're much easier to consume. Because we have 1978. We have it. It's up there. I don't need to see that again. If I want to see that again, I'll go pop it in. But if I want to see a different way Michael could have played out, I'm going to put in 2007's remake. You want difference in there. That's what the point is of redoing the story. And that's what everybody wanted to see, was a different Michael. And what we got was a very different Michael, a very different Laurie, and a very different story that ultimately, yeah, it is a solid entry. And with it being so different, we do get a very different ending. An ending that seemed very final, but it wasn't. What we then got was a very interesting take on the Halloween story with Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. And my review for that will be out on Tuesday, so be on the lookout. And while you're waiting, if you haven't already, go watch the reviews for Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, and the rest of the Halloween franchise up into this point. On Halloween, I'm ranking all of them. It's going to be a lot of fun, so get ready for it. I'll have links to start all those playlists in the description below. Be sure to go check those out. And on your way down there, I do have links to my Instagram and Twitter. They're both at @TheDaveCave_. I post over there when I'm not posting here. That is going to do it for me today. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to drop a like. And if you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button. I'm going to get out of here. Go watch Halloween 2. And I will see you very soon for that review. But until then, take care.